Kia ora koutou. Welcome everyone. Please stand and I'll welcome Wendy from the Glenedi Baptist Church up to lead us in prayer. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you everyone, and congratulations on all the yellow. It's looking amazing. Well done. It's my pleasure to lead us in prayer this afternoon, so please join me as I pray. Almighty God, Creator of the universe, we acknowledge that you are wholly good and wholly loving. You love justice and righteousness, and you ask us to join you in bringing justice and righteousness to your world. We thank you for our community leaders here today, for their desire to represent and serve the people of this region, and to build healthy and resilient communities for all people. Lord God, your word tells us that those who listen to advice will be considered wise. And your word tells us that you give wisdom generously to anyone who asks you for it. So today we ask for your wisdom. As the business of the council is discussed and decisions made, may those here today listen well to the advice that is offered, and may they ask and receive wisdom from you in all their deliberations. Lord God, in a time and place where there are fewer and fewer examples of healthy disagreement, we pray for your grace and peace to be in this place, so that all matters can be discussed and debated in open and respectful ways, that all voices may be heard and understood, that all perspectives may be considered. Then, Lord, grant your wisdom and discernment to make the choices that will bring justice and righteousness, that will build vibrant and thriving communities in our region. Heavenly Father, may your kingdom come. May your will be done here on earth, in Timaru and South Canterbury, today and every day, as it is in heaven. Amen.
Thanks, Wendy. Please stay standing and join us in our waiata.
E riri ra e aku ai Māori, I maringi atua ki a koutou e. E riri ra e aku ai Māori, I maringi atua ki a koutou e. Rangi tata ki urunga puri ora ki raro te tā o a te whiria whiria o waio e. E re ra e ako ai mi e.
Kia ora team, please be seated. Thanks so much, Wendy, appreciate that. Alrighty, welcome everyone. Just start with, firstly welcome Jan Finlayson. Great to be with us, Jan, from the Geraldine Community Board. I've got apologies from Pleasant Point, Ross Munro and Temuka, Amy Beard. I'll move that from the chair. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Burt, thank you. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against carried. Alrighty, we go to public forum and we've got Peter Scott and Nick Ward from ECAN, and then going to come and have a chat with us in regard to public transport CCO. Thanks and welcome.
I thought it must be election year.
Okay. Okay, well, just on that point, I was going to save it till later, but I'll give you my one pager that I did 3 years ago. Election period reminder, council conduct. Good for you two to listen as well. So Timaru, we've got about 40 candidates, only 10, including the two over there that are going for roles. So as we now are in formal election period, I remind all elected members that the Chamber is not a platform for electioneering. While you continue your roles as councillors, it is important that debate remains focused on the issues, not campaigns or candidates. No statements promoting your re-election or criticising other candidates are made in this forum. Questions during public forums, that's questions, should remain based on policy and agenda, focused and respectful, are not used to make political points. This ensures that all candidates, whether sitting members or not, compete on a level playing field, and it upholds the integrity and neutrality of councils. and its processes during the election period. So I'm not going to say that again, but I'd expect the chairs to run the same rules in regard to a committee so that it is a fair, level playing field for everyone. So I know it's good and we're all friends and it's nice to throw the jokes and stuff out there, but we will try and be as respectful and fair to everyone as possible. So we'll go now to the ECAN team and pass over to you.
Ki te mihi nui, ki te mihi kia koutou, tēnā koutou me Nigel, kai koni hira, he kai whakahare Nigel, he kai mahi TDC. It's nice to be here. This is just a courtesy visit, but I guess we're getting to the end of the triennium and there's lots of stuff at stake. We won't be back in this room. Some of you won't be back in this room. I don't know if I cross my fingers or not to be back in our room, but there we are. So we've got a bit ahead of us. Just before I get going on the notice of motion, TDC's part in the Waitakere Awards that you've got, LGNZ conference, well done on that. I was really quite surprised. I think that as being part of Environment Canterbury, I don't think we've ever received an award. Right, in my recognition, certainly when we had commissioners, we didn't get an award for doing anything, actually. So that's well done, and good to shine a spotlight on that area for the region and also for TDC. So my congratulations on that. This is really just a courtesy, me being here today. So I put a notice of motion before our council in June this year regarding the public transport function that we have. We provide, if you don't know, we provide service, the service side of it, the bus side of it, timetables, that sort of thing, and CCC do the infrastructure, probably similar to what you do here or have done here in the past. And it's about $165 million balance sheet item for us, and I think for CCC it might be about 100, so it's a reasonable size business. We're predicated on trying to get PT Future's uplift of route delivery, to 10-minute services and those things where we can, and also with the anticipation of going to a mass rapid transport system that would run in the first instance between Hornby and Kaiapoi. It may seem strange that I'm coming from South Canterbury talking about this stuff. I often get reminded by rural councillors, what the bloody hell are we doing in public transport? But I inherited that transport position when I first went there in 2016. I've held on to it. And I just think that probably of the people in the room on public transport, I'm one of the more experienced, not one of the less emotional, I would think, in terms of what's going on with this. And it just seems that there's time for us to actually get this stuff off our balance sheet and into a CCO. So that's the aim. There's plenty of other models, there's joint committees and all sorts of things. But where we operate in Christchurch, it's a difficult place. It's highly political. We would never get a consensus in terms of what we wanted to do. So this is an opportunity to test that. And it's predicated also on the fact that one of the things that David Parker did when he was Minister of Transport, many of you may not realise that he was a Minister of Transport right at the end of the Labor government. He changed the operating model that public transport operates under from the public transport operating model, which was in place from 2013 to 2023, to a model that's called the Sustainable Public Transport Futures model. Now that offers a lot of opportunity. We've got My Way here in Timaru based on the fact that we had and it's going really good, I must say. I mean, it's got, I think, 265,000 or 270 rides. That's probably 100,000 more than the system had in it before. But the Sustainable Public Transport Futures offers those in charge of the region or in charge of the area for public transport to do things like My Way. And we've certainly been called out for across the region to do that. In the east of Christchurch, there's poorly serviced. An on-demand bespoke service could work there. But at the moment, the public transport operating model is based on a 6 to 9 year contract for the bus. And essentially it's based around how long is a bus going to last, 6 to 9 years, and therefore you do all that pricing up front. There's a lot of margin put in it. I'm not saying anyone's rorting this, but if you were going into a business for a 9-year contract, you'd want to make sure you're pretty secure in terms of your numbers. This offers us an opportunity to do things like own buses, to do things like have a national bus procurement system, to do things like bring cab and chassis in and have them manufactured in Christchurch and other places. It also ensures that the conditions that those have operating the buses, the bus drivers, strike their agreements with the CCO rather than with the transport operator. So it gives us that flexibility. We're at this, so where we are at this point in time is that we're getting advice on Friday, hopefully, from Deloitte and also from AGET, which is an infrastructure company that provides advice on things like this, about what's the possibility, where are the wins, where are the no wins. It's an interesting thing. I mean, you guys have gone through your water debate, and no turkeys want to vote for Christmas. So if you're putting things together, you're already getting rid of a CFO, you're already getting rid of CEO, you're going to have one person running the place. So organisations fundamentally aren't interested in doing things like this. $165,000 or 65 million out of our balance sheet makes a big difference to employment conditions. So journey's a wrong word, good word for transport, but a wrong word at this point in time because it will take some time, I think. I think the cost of actually doing it is probably going to be close to $1 million, just looking at being able to do that. And then you would hope if you went in with that sort of view that you'd come out the other end with some certainty about where we're headed. So where does Timaru sit in that? The two main entities involved in this at the moment are ourselves, because we're the public transport operator, and Christchurch City, which is the road authority for Christchurch. So they do things that you do, you know that. Had a reasonable reception from CCC when I went and saw them. A good reception from Selwyn. I'm with Dan on Thursday, Dan Gordon, in Waimakariri, and their Greater Christchurch Partnership on Friday. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So Timaru won't be left out. I don't think you need to go to a CCO. A simple subcontracting model to a CCO would suffice, I would have thought, unless things get a lot more complicated than I see them.
Yeah. So do you still see, Environment Canterbury, being involved with the changes moving forward, or do you think, and where does the CCU lie? Currently, hypothetically, it would be under ECAN versus, it doesn't really matter necessarily, does it?
Well, I think you guys know as well as I do about where we're at with local government reform and things like that, and all sorts of conversations going on around the place about, what the form should take, and we've certainly taken that to. We spent a lot of time on that, haven't we, Nick? In terms of what will we look like, and we don't really care about what our form looks like. We're pretty satisfied that our form can be what our form is, but the functions that we provide shouldn't be lost. But it's a good question to say that if we didn't have public transport, if we got rid of, essentially something that takes up 30 to 40% of our time, and a lot of the cash that comes in, pretty much comes from straight out. If you guys go CCOs on water, then, well, what have we all got left to do? So I think we're at that point that I don't know the answer to your question, Nigel. I don't know what our future looks like. But I just do hope that we, as a regional council, don't forget the things that we're there for and the things that we do really well. I mean, the things that we do, we're getting off the subject here, but the things that we do really well, we've done really well on rivers. I mean, South Canterbury needs a lot more money spent on its rivers.
Thank you. Councillor Piddington and then Councillor Burt.
Peter, just regarding the transport, so if you're talking Christchurch Metro going to a CCO for transport, and we're just sort of left to our own devices, would you guys still be subsidised? How does that work? Because it runs at a loss. I'm just interested who you're going to hand the loss over to.
Well, I think, well, we won't hand it to anyone. I think that you do really well in Timaru. We looked at that the other day with Nigel in terms of, there's always a subsidy per fare. Transport is inherently difficult to make really pay for itself. But the NZTA model in terms of the 51% subsidy that's given, and then there's the fare recovery, and then there's what you put in. I mean, Timaru's about $6 a ride. We've got routes in Christchurch that are 54. But to get to your issues, Stuart, that NZTA stuff would still exist. Auckland Transport is a CCO, although there's some Auckland Transport's got to the stage now, it's got so big, the elected members don't think they have anything to do with it. So they're actually questioning that. They're not questioning the operating side of it, but they're questioning the strategy and the planning and that sort of stuff around it.
Councillor Burt.
You said you don't know the future, but don't you get an idea that central government are making things easier, get rid of that burden for what they've already said if they get back in, regional councils will go and will all turn into unitaries, and that'll be the ability to affect the changes. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think it's an easy default for people to talk about unitaries because they don't understand anything else. I mean, we've got unitary councils, we've got 5 or 6 unitary councils across the country, and in a lot of instances they struggle to do the bit that we do. That gets lost in the amalgamation of having to do everything. To be honest with you, to be 100% honest with you, you need a standardised number of people for a unitary to work properly, and I think that's possibly 100,000, maybe $120,000, 120,000 people, I should say. And so, is that Mid-Canterbury, North Canterbury? Mid-Canterbury, South Canterbury? What then would Waitaki do?
Waitaki as well.
What would they do? And so, I don't know, Pete. I mean, we'll go with the flow, I guess, in terms of what happens.
Then we've got good river engineers, and the West Coast hasn't. So can you take the boundary over the hill? I mean, there's lots of
Someone has to pick up the orphans, eh?
Yeah.
No one wants to pick up the orphans. No one wants to pick up those that are struggling, and you know that. We've seen that. We've seen some commentary on that already. But at the end of the day, when you can have a differential for service of between $300 and $800 per ratepayer unit, I mean, we've seriously got to look at actually offering ourselves up in terms of the chopping block for some of these things. And we don't mind.
Yeah, it's got to be around the best option for delivering the service. It's interesting with the orphans. Some orphans don't want to be picked up.
we know that.
Well, you know what happens to orphans, don't you? Sometimes they just wither and die.
We don't want the orphans to wither and die, do we? So,
and I haven't identified any actually, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Any more transport questions, Councillor Pye?
Sorry, just going back to Councillor Piddington's point. If you no longer do public transport, and he talked about where are you going to offload the loss to, but it's the same ratepayers who are actually paying for that loss, isn't it? So it's actually just potentially coming off your ECAM bill and potentially onto your TDC bill. The amount should still be the same.
It has to be rated somewhere, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's, if you use that logic, Michelle, why would you do anything? But I think that what we see internally about how this works from a governance point of view, we don't have decent conversations with governance with CCC. We talk across to Hereford Street. We don't sit in the same room as them and talk about it. And people talk about having a joint committee. Well, good on you, but come and talk to us about it. And you'll see that we're the target every now and again for saying, oh, bloody ECAN, the buses aren't. You see, and it was in the news the other day, that so many percentage of the buses run on time. Cynically, I would say, is that because there's so many goddamn road cones around Christchurch and traffic's been slowed down? Is that because Te Kaha's under development and you can't get past it? I mean, there are other reasons other than we can't do our job. and that's annoying. You all look wonderful in your yellow.
Yeah.
Actually.
Thank you.
Wish we got the memo.
Sorry, that's all right. You're more than welcome to come back and wear yellow. We'll be wearing yellow all of August to support
Really?
Cancer Society, and other councils have been encouraged to do that across the country. So you could lead that charge within Environment Canterbury team. There's a challenge to take away. No worries.
Scared of bees, Nigel. That's fine.
Yeah, of
I
course
just
you can.
asked a question, just to be clear in my brain. So you're investigating setting up a CCO to take over the transport functions of ECAN? Is it that broad, or is it more as a provider of transport?
Look, it's broader than that, Nigel, to be fair. The notice of motion, I'll send to you the notice of motion so you understand it. And I've got a summary of stuff that we need to take into account. It's combining the two councils. So if we still existed and CCC existed, there'd be council representation on the CCO, probably 2 of each maybe. But, you know, the financial acumen doesn't always exist in a council, you know, from governance. You know, and what do I say? I mean,
And that's why Peter and I, we've talked about this a lot. And the nights in Christchurch around the dinner table. Yeah. And we can
it's
see
good.
the efficiencies.
That's it. We do need efficiencies, so you've got to be looking at what the options are, so it makes good sense. Of course you can.
Sorry, because I think I'm as confused as Mr Trainer. So you're talking about a CCO for Christchurch bus services, and Timaru will be left to sort their own stuff out and potentially contract to the CCO, contract from the CCO, or are you talking about taking a CCO that does all of the transport across all of Canterbury?
Lots of elephants in the room there, Michelle, in terms of, I'm trying to eat the biggest one first and then sort the rest out. I think the criticism that I've had from Selwyn and from Waimakariri is, why aren't we involved? Well, because it's easier to have a conversation with the two who have absolute responsibility for the thing. I mean, I've informed Nigel about this probably 3 months ago that we were going to have this conversation. And who knows what happens. I mean, my conversation that pushed this on was when Simeon Brown was Transport Minister, and I had a conversation with him and I said to him, to move from a PTO to a sustainable public transport future model, what is required? He said, you need to be more efficient for your ratepayer than what you're being now. So that's the underlying. And that doesn't mean that you get left out at all. I mean, it means that that efficiency needs to flow through to you guys.
It's a wider opportunity to look at more holistically PT and or transport that sits within both public and private, I guess, too, for a region like ours. My Way's probably eroded some taxi services, so, is there a model where they can work closer together? Yeah.
Look, I don't want to extend your day any more than I need to, but the other point that we made during our annual planning contribution was a lot of people came out of Selwyn to us about public transport. Selwyn's all the things that Selwyn says it is. It's developed really, really quickly. There's a lot of people there, but the infrastructure's not there.
Yeah.
So if you want to see a psychologist, for example, you've got to go to Christchurch. If you want to see any sort of medical specialist, if you want to see a financial specialist or a legal specialist, you have to go into Christchurch. They do not exist out there. And when people came to us during the annual plan making submissions to us and saying, well, we need these services, we said, well, we can't. We're operating under a model that doesn't allow this. Sustainable public transport futures enables you to do some hybrid stuff around community cars and that type of thing. So, people need the options. The people in Ashburton want options on public transport. They've got a migrant population up there, a lot of Indian and Filipino people who don't drive, working on farms and things, and they can't get into town to get the services that I just spoke about. So we're in a changing time. We need to recognise that.
Yeah, lots of opportunity. Alrighty, thanks team, appreciate that.
Thanks, Nigel.
Alrighty, everyone, we'll go back now to the agenda. So any urgent business? No. Any minor nature? Stu, Councillor Policy.
Sorry, not a big one, but James Meagher's promoting the $30 million Coastal Shipping Resilience Fund and a little local publication. He's recommending we all get in amongst it. So I'm just wondering whether we have through VT or TDHL. And just on that, where we are with regional deals, we'd talked about extending the airport runway. So maybe just an update on those. Thank you.
Runway. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, have you got, as another minor? No, that's right, we can deal with that. If it's on that item, we can deal with that at the... Yeah, no, perfect. So anything else, minor nature? No, all good, perfect. We'll deal with that towards the end of the agenda. Conflicts of interest, any conflicts? No. So go now to confirmation of minutes. We'll try and speed through this. So 7.1 minutes of the council meeting held on the 24th of June 2025. Kind of a mover for that. Councillor Shannon, Councillor Pye. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. 7.2 minutes of the council meeting held on the 30th of June 2025. Councillor Scott, Councillor Burt. Thank you. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. 7.3 now, minutes of the council meeting held on 15th of July 2025. Councillor Jackson? Yes. Councillor Parker? Thank you. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. 7.4 minutes of council meeting held on the 22nd of July. Councillor Booth? Thank you. Councillor Oliver? Thank you. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Go now to schedules of functions attended, 8.1. I think we had consultation for water, so thank you all those that were involved in those. Not a lot of people turning up necessarily, but we did certainly create the opportunities for people, which was great. So I'm happy to move from the chair the functions attended by Mayor, Deputy Mayor and councillors. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Scott, thank you. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. 8.2 is schedule of functions attended by Chief Executive. Move it. Councillor Jackson, thank you. Councillor Burt, thank you. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. 9.1, we're nearly at something where we can talk about. 9.1, affixing of the common seal on page 45. Can I move for that? Thank you, Councillor Burt. Councillor Shannon, put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Go now to 9.2, which is 47. So release of public excluded items. Any questions, comments on that? Or if not, I'll happy to receive a mover from the floor. Yeah, Councillor Shannon, happy to move. Thank you. Seconder, yep, Councillor Pye. No further discussion? No. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. 49, now we go to actions register, which is 9.3. So we'll just tick through these just to see if there's any commentary from anyone. Budget reallocation trial, ongoing. Finance is investigating the best information available from AGQ to enable a monthly review of year-to-year budgets fully utilising prior to the end of the financial year. So that is expected to be implemented by August 2025. Any questions on that? No, that's good stuff. No, next one is subcontracting from council. So I won't read through, but there's a July 2025 update. Yeah, let me know if there's any questions that you have from that. That's a decent paragraph, so I won't read through that. That's and to do with Fulton Hogan and street sweeping, etc. No, so I'll move through to information request, investigate small trades. So ongoing and looking at a combination of options for efficiencies gained, relatively across a few different things, delivered in-house, a few of those things. Obviously, we've had the change management and restructure. Some of these things will get picked up again with some more. Sorry, yeah. With a different set of eyes. Yeah, with a different set of eyes. So that is still ongoing, which is great. No questions from that team. No. Next one, vertical infrastructure maintenance report, which is quarterly. Won't again read through that. Got the update in front of you. Any questions? No, good, okay. Move forward to financial system, working on a business case for the financial upgrade system, so we're looking forward to seeing that at some point in time. Just what's an estimate of time frame around that, do you think?
Should have something for the next council meeting.
Okay, cool.
It's just going through, we've done a draft and it's just going through approvals and tweaks now.
Yep, awesome, exciting. Yeah, Councillor Scott.
Sorry, I did have a question just with regards to the vertical infrastructure maintenance report.
Yep.
I note that we're sort of settling in to our new ways, but we're going to come back into early 26 and with a presentation or report. But I just wondered, once you actually have that under control, maybe a scope would be quite good to understand what is going to be delivered in that report, just to make sure we're all on the same page of what will be delivered. So once...
That's what the last sentence is about. Given the quantum of the task, this will be presented to Council early 26 in preparation for the next long-term plan.
I know, but if you read the first sentence, well, the second sentence, you've acknowledged there's a gap,
Yep.
and now that we've worked through the restructure, you're obviously going to assign that job, but obviously we just need a bit of a scope to make sure that the report that's coming to council is satisfactory, and what this table is actually making sure we're all on the same page, and what you're going to present is what we're after, because it's sort of been 3 years.
Yeah, Mr Dixon's picked up on that, I think.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get anyone up to fail is what I'm trying to say.
No, point taken, but yeah, at the end of the day, we're going to be producing an asset management plan, which is we need to have, and that will detail out all the asset inventory, the condition of it, the performance standards, and also the costs that are associated with that, both operating and capital. Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you, Councillor Scott and Mr Dixon. Where did I get to? So we've done the workshop and waste still sits there. Is there? We can probably cross this action off. Oh, sorry, Councillor Shannon.
Yeah, I was going to say that though,
Yeah.
other than perhaps this is something that should be carried over to the new council.
Yeah, yep, Councillor Pye.
We're still waiting for some answers to questions that were raised in the workshop, which is why it's still on the list.
Yeah,
and it
okay.
says that they're going to bring them back to us in August.
Oh, there's two. Yeah, glasses back on. No, that's all good, perfect, yeah. Freedom Camping, no change. Membership of Local Authority Protection Lap Disaster Fund. That's just an insurance ongoing. No, any other further questions from those last couple? No. No.
Around the reports, in general, I just wonder, we're talking about a rates review, I just wonder if that was like an action point we could put on there, and then we're getting updates as to the progress of that on a regular basis, because it's pretty important that that's action.
Yeah, we can add that as to the actions register, so rates and revenue review as far as progress. Yep. No, perfect, good. Okay, so if we can just move that actions, council receiving notes that updates the action register with the addition of the revenue and rates review as an action. Thank you, Councillor Scott. Councillor Pye, put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. It's carried. So now we go to 9.44, council investments and borrowing, and welcome Ashley, and that's on page 58.
Thank you, Your Worship. I will take this report as read and happy to answer any questions.
Perfect. Questions, team? Councillor Pye, go for it.
So on page 63, the interest rate risk graph, and it has the two red lines, which are our policy bands. And so I'm just wondering, obviously we are in policy up till 2029, so I'm just making sure I totally understand this graph properly, but as we lock in more money, those graphs shift and the aim is always to be within the two bands. Is that how it works? Because you look at it at the moment and kind of think that getting towards the end, it gets out of kilter a wee bit.
Andrea, is this something you can?
Yes, it is. What we might do is get Bancorp to come along, I think when the new council comes in, to then go through the report that they write and then explain it all to the new councillors and a refresher for the existing councillors. I think that would be beneficial. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I understand it, but I wouldn't be able to explain it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Puddington.
Just round about that graph, page 63, the bottom one, the interest rate projection, it's going up from 3% to, depending on your eyesight, 5 or above 5%. And I know it's over a 10-year period, but do we build that into the long-term plan, those increased interest rates?
Yes, we do.
Councillor Jackson.
I just wanted to know a little bit more, about the, on page 65, the interest rate short-term versus long-term. So how do we assess the associated risks? What tools do we use to do that? Thank you.
So once we use Bancorp as our advisors on this, and so essentially they look at our revenue and financing policy and then determine our liquidity risks and things like that that will impact on our covenants for our LGFA. So they're constantly reviewing what debt we have, interest rates at the point in time that, it might be cheaper to actually get something short term and then, push something out to long term. At the moment, we're just rolling over short term because the rates are sitting under 4%. So we're currently getting around about 3.75% for short-term borrowings. So at this point, we're just rolling those over until such time that the rates fluctuate.
Councillor Booth.
Just on your numbers on page 59, in your debt, and then debt to revenue ratio 122%. Have you based that on our actual income, or basically what we think we're going to get?
So this calculation is based on our year-end 30 June 2025 results.
Which is, what, 142 or 132 million?
134 million, I think.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
Oh, we will miss you, Councillor Booth.
It's actually interesting on that page 63. That forecast is indicating there's actually quite a small window of it coming down before it starts going back up again. So it's fascinating. So lock in your fixed rates.
Let's just do a disclaimer that we do not offer financial advice to anyone listening out there.
Talk about us.
Yeah, that's okay. Alrighty, further questions for Ashley? No, if not, we'll go back to the motion, which a recommendation that Council receives and notes the quarterly Council investment and borrowing report to 30th of June. Andrea and the team will do a sort Bancorp for a post-election workshop, but I'm here to move that from the chair. Can I have a second? Thank you. Councillor Shannon. Put the motion out. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Cool. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate that. We go now to 9.5, which is Community Board Strategic Plan Carry Forwards funding. And welcome Rosie and Andrew.
Yeah, okay. Right. Thank you, Worship and Councillors. So this report is about basically carrying forward the funding for both the Geraldine and the Temuka community boards in regard to their strategic projects. So it should be noted that Pleasant Point actually did deliver everything and spent all their money. But there is still some outstanding in the other two areas, which is for a variety of reasons, not necessarily the responsibility of the boards. There are other external factors that have come into this. So this is about carrying a request to carry forward this funding, recognising that the strategic funding of these projects is over the long term. It's basically a 10-year funding stream, and it's very hard to stick to the allocated $71,000 per year. So there is ups and downs. So we have tried to just to formalise that there is funding left over from the last financial year, and which will be moved forward. The projects are still to be done and will be allocated to this funding. Rosie, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, I won't repeat too much of that, but so the projects that are flagged in this report are already in train. They have begun, some costs have been incurred and some commitments have been made. So the impact of declining the carry forward funding would be that the two boards would be unable to choose a project selection for the present financial year. These projects are still committed.
Questions? Pleasant point, well done. Delivering on time. Councillor Piddington.
They obviously haven't got councillors in their way. They're all on my side. No, I was interested in the projects at Temuka. The town square was 43k, but the signage from the domain to the town square was 61k. So I'm just interested in what we're getting for 61k and who can't find their way from the Temuka domain to the town square.
Yeah, I'll allow Councillor Pye and Councillor Shannon to bring the project vividly to life for you. But that $61,000 project, we often try and have a bit of a catch-all name for the project because the board there's a bit of nuance to their vision, and this project involves a lot of trail creation as well, and that's something that's been a theme in Temuka, is starting with an idea and then working out what needs to be added to that idea so that what you get is an asset that is fit for purpose for the community. And in this case, there was no point directing people along paths that were not in their present condition accessible.
See, if you'd put paths, I would have accepted it, but you put signage, which made me think you're spending 61k on signage.
The project, that's a legacy name, so that project name came up in 23-24 and it has evolved, but for budget tracking purposes, we haven't renamed it. Yeah.
There were a lot of signs though, so we've upgraded the signs for the domain, which are a massive improvement. But the other thing in Temuka is one of the walkways through the township has a lot of decisions on which way to go, and I've been walking around there before and people just don't know where to go. So we've been upgrading that signage so you can enjoy the Shire of Temuka.
Yeah, Councillor Pye.
Just so we're 100% clear about this, I'm fully supportive of the roll forward, obviously, carry forward. But so when we were, and this may be an Andrea question actually, sorry Andrea, when we report on this, so this figure is not included in our FY26 budget, is it? So when we report on this, this is going to be in addition to what we've budgeted because we were under budget last year. Thank you.
Can I just seek clarity for the rest of the councillors, Rosie, that there has been a deposit paid for the STS sculpture, so the money that's there is sitting there to be spent, is there for going to get used up?
Yeah, worst case scenario, you're using this year's budgets, but there's a contract in place with the sculptor and she has drawn down her first payment, and there's also a payment that was made for a soil condition test of the proposed location of the sculpture, and a portion of that remaining budget will be for the plinth and that structural work.
So there was a bit of confusion over the amount in the budget for the Community Board strategic plans, where the long-term plan narrative said it was still 71, but apparently the figures were 50, and there was a bit of pushback from the community board about that, or maybe the councillors on the community boards. Did we resolve that?
Yeah, we did.
The amount in the annual plan, approved annual plan, is the 71,000.
I'm fascinated how we got to 71 from 70. I understand the 2 to 210, but the...
We don't like rounding.
No, that's all right. Anyway, that's quite minor. Let's go back to the resolution if there's no... Yeah, no, you're happy to move? Thank you, Councillor Oliver. Councillor Scott, thank you. Thank you, Rosie and Andrew. Put the motion now. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Final item as far as a report today, we've got annual plan 24-25 12-month non-financial performance report. Welcome, Steph. By your lonesome. Welcome, Steph. Sure you can handle it.
Cool. So happy to take the report as read. Just noting that these are interim results and subject to audit's year-end process with the annual report, but happy to take any questions and I will try to answer them on behalf of managers.
Councillor Piddington.
It's a bit of a chestnut for me, but in the report we have things are going well, not going well, things are up or down, and it states there's been more Air New Zealand cancellations. I don't want Air New Zealand to get away scot-free, but can we have their numbers? Can we be tracking them somehow? Who is in charge? So for a quarter we know how many have been cancelled. Yeah, and the reason for them.
I can provide that data, but I don't have it on me at the moment. But yeah.
I guess my point though, Nigel, is if we're getting these reports, it should give us that detail, surely. Because what's the point of them otherwise?
No, I'm just interested to... I don't disagree. I think it's useful information. I just think, is it something that we should, as council, should be reporting on? Yeah, I don't know.
More than happy, because you just keep hearing people don't use Timaru Airport because flights are cancelled, therefore they use Christchurch, and then they say our loadings are down. You know, it's all in one. I would like to keep them tracked, and I would like to regularly talk to Air New Zealand in some way about that.
Go for it, Councillor Shannon.
Yeah, I agree, Stu, in terms of having that information being provided to us, because it is available. I did see it last week actually, and Dixon has that, but I'm not keen on, in fact, I'm not keen at all on us measuring performance based on things entirely outside of our control. So in terms of us being measured, that being part of it, I don't agree with that being in there. Just like also in terms of, it's further down the road, deaths and serious injuries, I'm just not in agreement of us being having a performance measure on something without the detail if it's not something that council is directly responsible for.
We do have funding for road safety, but we don't run an airline.
Pardon?
We do have funding.
No, that wasn't my point. My point was that without the details,
yeah.
We're just saying boldly that everybody that dies in the district on the road, that's a measurement from us, not necessarily because of road condition, and likewise with takeoffs and landings at the airport. If it's beyond our control, I don't think we should be measuring ourselves on it, but I do agree that we should provide that information.
If we're not measuring it, who is, and where does it become public data, I guess?
Well, it's been measured by somebody else.
Yes.
So we're not in disagreement with supplying the information and supplying it to us, but it shouldn't be a council performance indicator.
Yeah, so some of the measures that were agreed in the LTP, we report some mandatory measures for the likes of funding through NZTA and also DIA as well with a lot of the water stuff. The takeoffs and landings at the airport is no longer an LTP measure. It's just more of a good, I guess it's always in the paper at least a couple of times a year, so it's good to keep council, I guess, informed about what's happening with there, so you have a platform to lobby to the likes of New Zealand for, increased infrastructure on their part, and for us to play a part in supporting that too, because it improves like GDP and economic growth for our district as well. So it's more of a marker of that kind of thing, but it's not an LTP measure anymore. But the road safety side is, because we get funding from NZTA to support road safety initiatives. Therefore, deaths and serious injury is a good indicator of how safe our network is.
Still disagree. When you're talking death and serious injury, if you were to we should be breaking that down into what those deaths and serious injuries were. We all know that the last one that happened on Evan Street had zero to do with the condition of roads, etc., anything outside within our control. So those things, I'm saying, should be isolated, so that how can you possibly improve something without measuring specifically that thing that you are doing? That's my point with that.
Yeah, so we can increase, I guess, what we're reporting on and add more commentary to it if that's beneficial. Yep.
Can I just make a point that the deaths and serious injuries on state highways are not recorded in the starter. It's only on our local roads that we record it.
We'll go Councillor Piddington and then Councillor Jackson.
Pleased we cleared that up. Page 43, leaks in the Timaru Library are apparent due to wet weather. What are they? Because I thought we'd re-roofed it, we'd re-glazed it. I'm just concerned what they are, and are they a fault of the contractor that put the windows roof in? What's the damage? Who's fixing it? What's the cost?
Sorry, Councillor Piddington, what page were you?
It's page 74, number 43.
Thank you.
I can help with that one too. So there is more information on that where I've referenced page 23 of the attachment, which is page 101 of the agenda.
Say it again.
It didn't really
101.
give much detail.
Okay. We can
Memory?
What number of page again?
So 101
page
of the agenda.
101 of the agenda.
So several leaks have been encountered around the building as winter weather has set in. These have been dealt with on a case-by-case basis. Basement area in and around external staircase exits, windows in the main library, windows in the staff break room. The vent have served to reinforce the need for mitigation that has previously been identified in building condition reports.
But my point is I thought we'd re-glazed it all and we'd put a new roof on it, so I'm surprised it's leaking. Not for you to answer, Steph, but someone could step up.
We put a new rubber roof on, didn't we? But there should be a warranty. It was only done a couple of years ago. We were told at the time that a flat roof is not very good for drainage. It needed a different roof.
That's right. We can have someone come back with a further explanation if there is any issues with the roof and or window seals potentially, if there's any wider concern that would be helpful. Councillor Jackson, sorry. Thank you.
Page 85, so well done that occupied council housing complies with building regulations and healthy homes, etc., which is great. But I just wanted a bit more clarity on the quarterly issues for social housing. So currently 35 applicants on the wait list, plus applicants for under 50, so 43 people in total waiting for accommodation. So how does that stack up to figures in the past? I mean, are we going in the right direction or the wrong direction there? What's the trends around people waiting on wait lists for social housing?
There's definitely always a demand for our social housing, and that obviously forms part of that bigger conversation that the new council will continue to have on delivery of that activity. And that's the best answer I can give you. There is always a demand, we don't have enough.
What I'm asking is that a higher demand than normal or lesser demand than normal? We don't know.
It's less, but also having the 100% occupancy has reduced the number. So proportionately, there has always been a wait list, but the number is less because we've got all our homes safe and occupied.
We have a large number of social housing units as well, so well above a lot of other regions. And it never used to be 100% full. So it's actually pleasing to see that.
Thanks, Councillor Booth. Yes, I'll go Councillor Pye. And then, and Councillor Scott.
Just a couple of questions from me. On the stormwater page 75.52, says a hearing for the objection to the duration of the Temuka and Pleasant Point consents has been set for August. Is that us appealing the duration being too short, or is that somebody else appealing it being too long?
That's us appealing the duration. Yeah, we sought a 35-year consent, and ECAN has only granted us a lot less than that. I'm not sure the number, but it'd be about 20 years or something. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. I kind of had it's not a question, it's a suggestion. Given that, you know, the focus on councils getting back to infrastructure, water, roading and that, I did wonder if we should be reordering this report. It seems to be loosely in alphabetical order, but we kind of start with democracy, which people probably care about the least, whereas we probably should have roading, water, wastewater, waste kind of stuff at the front, but that's just my view and a suggestion.
Yeah, so the order is actually based on the order of activities in the long-term plan, because I do love a structure. I've ordered it in the same way, but yeah, going into next financial year, we can talk about how the council wants to receive the information.
So we were now done there. We're going to over to Councillor Scott, and then I'll come back to Councillor Piddington.
Councillor Burt talked too much. Just kidding. I've got 4 questions for you, Steph. Page 93, resource consents under district planning. We haven't met our target for resource consent processing, and I appreciate there's some commentary to that, but can you outline what impact this might be having on our community and local, particularly in terms of development delays or costs or confidence in council processes? '93, would you like me to repeat my question, Mr. Cooper?
No, I think I've got it, thanks. I'm just getting to the page. Yeah. I think the consents team have done quite well in that they've increased the number of consents that we are processing in-house. So I think the community should be encouraged by that, because we're not using quite as many consultants as we did in the previous year, for example. Ones that have gone out have been basically because there's either been a conflict of interest, for example, I don't want to name names, but there's projects that council has had an involvement in, whereby if we were the judge and jury over that particular decision, it probably wouldn't reflect well on us if a third party was to look on that objectively later on. So we've passed that out to commissioners outside and a decision maker outside of the organisation. But I think it's in reasonable nick in terms of community confidence. I think it will be on a journey of improvement, continuous improvement, and I think we're going to be better placed following the restructure to deliver better service. That's my view.
That sort of follows on to my next question about regular updates, which is the next page on 94. We only achieved 1, and it feels like it was just right at the end in May. We decided to communicate, we'll do a regular update to our community. So I'm struggling to understand why this target isn't met. It seemed a little bit of an afterthought. And again, what impact might this be having on our developer confidence or community trust when it comes to 4 updates a year? We only achieved 1. Can you sort of, what happened? Next page. We were supposed to do 4 updates a year and we only achieved 1, and we've only just done it in May.
My computer's having a bit of a moment. What are the updates? Because I can't read it. On the
Building and planning services provide the local community and or local industry with regular updates and information at least 4 times per year. We only achieved 1, and our target was 4. And I feel like the commentary doesn't really explain how difficult that was.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got a hard copy here. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the question. I don't know off the top of my head why we haven't done that. I know that the one that we did do was a whole of organisation, and we also brought in ECAN, and it was a workshop or interactive 2-way workshop between us and the development sector, and that was quite a good evening and quite effective. We were going to do some more of that. We do have, in terms of the building, we have the quarterly sector newsletter that goes out, and that's gone out as it's meant to, on time. So I think the 3 opportunities that we've missed to maybe have updates with the community directly is something that we're looking to improve on through our consents working group led by Jason Ellis. And that workshop that we did have was as a result of that group. So we are looking to do more of that. But that's about all I can say, really, Councillor Scott.
It might be good too with the new year to ask the developers what they're looking for, and that can help guide your 4 interactions perhaps.
I've had a number of personal interactions as GM. I've been out visiting owners of local design companies, building companies, and some of the more significant players in the district. And we have been talking about what their needs are, what we could do better, and likewise there have been those exchanges that have been happening just as a business as usual. But yeah, we haven't had any whiz-bang sort of events, as it were, to celebrate that.
Thank you. Page 138, Councillor Pye's favourite topic, waste management, but I want to talk about recycling. The contamination rate is clearly well outside our acceptable limits. So what is actually being done to fix it, and when can we expect to see measurable improvements? And are we learning from other councils? I've even put a note there who are doing this well, and if not, why not?
Yeah, I think the point that needs to be made is that we are actually diverting, about 78% of our waste into renewable. So we are one of the lowest in the country when it comes to actually waste disposal. So although our contamination rate is reasonably high, we actually collect a lot more recyclable materials than most other councils. Often you take the Ashburton, there's just basically one little bin, and they only take a couple of products and that's it. So hence you can get a very low contamination rate on that basis. The contamination rate that's reported though here, unfortunately, is the contamination received of all the recyclables ending up at the Red Roof landfill, and that includes Mackenzie and Waimate as well. So what we are planning to do is actually create better data, get some more isolation on what Timaru is actually doing, and we're also going to break that down into different areas as well. So the rural areas, Temuka, Geraldine, and work from that. We will then find out where the worst areas are and then proceed with the education campaign. We do have our bin inspectors out there every day, inspecting the bins, and stickers have been put on. We're still on the education phase. We could take a very hard line and remove people's bins, but I think education is the best option at this stage. Yeah.
Good to watch that over the next 12 months then, won't it, with all that in place?
Yes.
And just the last one, and I'm sorry I haven't written down the page, but Aorangi Road wet well design. The commentary says that the design is well on schedule, but our internal resources to deliver the project may be of concern. So I was just wondering what mitigation measures are in place to manage this, because we will get the design, but are we not going to be able to deliver it internally? Like, are we looking to engage external consultants? Are we going to reprioritise workloads? What's the game plan there?
Okay.
And is there a risk to other upcoming Three Water projects?
The proposal is, what our aim has been to reduce our consultant reliance on there. So we have been doing a lot of this work in-house. We do have a special projects engineer who is in charge of this project and working on it. He is certainly doing a lot of the scoping side of things, and then once we get the design more or less scoped well, then yes, we intend to use Becker consultants to actually do the design and deliver it. That is our mitigation measure. We can't do it all in-house at this stage. But
concern their internal resources for upcoming projects, or is this just this one in particular because it's...
I guess that the concern at the moment is we've had a couple of resignations of project engineers, so we will be here aiming to fill those positions, which will mitigate that.
Thank you. So I had Councillor Pye, Councillor Jackson, then Councillor Booth.
I just have a couple of roading questions. So my first one is around the rural roads and the grading and the adverse weather. I'm sorry, I want to turn around and look at you, Mr Dixon, but it's difficult with microphone. And so I fully appreciate this year's been challenging with the weather, but how can we be more proactive around that, both financially and operationally, so that, every 3 years, 5 years, however often it is, when we have more rainfall than normal, we can keep up with the maintenance that is required? Because yes, it is a challenge this year, but surely we can be better prepared for that. Do we need to be putting aside a fund to cover that? Do we need to have kind of graders on call? How can we do that better?
It's a very challenging question, that one. It's hard to resource up for the peaks, because what do you do with that resource when you're not at the peak is the issue, and there's a significant cost associated with that. Our analysis, interesting enough, is that when we increase the frequency of the grading, customer satisfaction decreases. So people get used to the higher level of service and then expect more, and that is one of the challenges that we've had. We are trying to work out a strategy to more education and trying to, and also more targeted with our grading. So looking at the roads, number of vehicles using them, and target it a bit more.
But specifically in relation to wet weather events, and I get that it's hard to resource, but can we not hire a grader or get another contractor in or something like that? And I just don't think education, expectation, that normal grading, it's just people want the grader to come the following week and fix their road that's full of potholes, water, and almost undrivable.
Yeah, we could resource up, but one of the issues is what we got to grade and the roads themselves. So there needs to be a significant investment into actually rebuilding a lot of those unsealed roads to allow that grading, and then in doing so you create a good crossfall in which then the water will shed off quite quickly. So one of the issues is there's a bit of a backlog when it comes to rehab, and we've got a significant sealed road network that does tend to take priority. Most of the unsealed roads, you've got to remember, they're only around about 50 to 80 vehicles a day on them. Yeah.
My second question about roading was, there's been a bit of feedback about traffic safety islands in Temuka on back streets of Temuka that aren't very busy. So how are those decisions made? Because from an outsider point of view, you just look at it and go, why have we put money into that and not grading of the rural roads?
I guess we work within some of our funding allocations from NZTA, and that we have buckets that we have, and safety was a primary focus, particularly with the previous government, and it just flowed through. Certain those safety will probably decrease a bit now in favour of pothole prevention, which is the new government focus.
Up to Councillor Jackson, then Councillor Booth.
I swapped them back with
I don't think you swapped them.
Here we go. Try that one.
Thank you.
Oh.
Rightio. So a question for...
It's working.
Mr Cooper, just regarding page 95. So when we were at the local government New Zealand conference just recently, this actually came up regarding the hairdressers and barbers no longer requiring registration to operate. So that's a reduction in income, $12,000 this year, and there's likely to be more of that stuff coming down the line. So how are we preparing for that as we move forward?
Yeah.
Because we still have to do the work, don't we?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Councillor Jackson. This is part of our health contract. So, for example, that loss of revenue for the $12,000 there, there's a mechanism in that contract for dealing with loss of revenue for things like when this happens. So we're getting work that would otherwise have been paid for, like under the special projects provision of the contract. They will undertake work to that value. So that it doesn't come off another council budget. In terms of the future, it is quite possible. There is quite a lot of legislation that we operate under that is many decades old. You know, the Health Act 1956 and numerous others that they are getting quite long in the tooth. So I don't doubt that a reform will continue, particularly if this government stays in. And we just have to be agile enough to respond to it and rely on the tools that we have within the health contract for this particular instance to respond to it. So I think we are equipped and agile enough because we're using the private sector for most of those environmental compliance matters. Yeah.
Just on page 18 regarding food safety, audited inspections, etc. It's a fail. It would appear that you have not audited a certain amount of food sites or kitchens, and it says here you've got 15 premises were unable to be verified due to circumstances outside office control. So how many did you actually achieve? Would that be 4 or 5 in the entire year? And how many staff have you got in that area?
Thanks for the question, Councillor Booth. Those roles are very specialist. Our food and health standards deliver that on our behalf. Things that prevent an inspection from taking place might be that they've closed up shop for a couple of months and we're not able to carry out the verification. That there are numerous reasons why we are not able to do a verification, and there are rules around that, so that if they're not operating and we can't verify them, they just sit on the books until such time as they've gone past a certain time, and then we can take a subsequent action to that using the Food Act. But so it's not because the work isn't being completed. It is. We have several hundred food outlets or businesses in our district and in the Mackenzie and Waimati, and we we're doing 100% of the verifications that are available to us to complete. I'll put it that way.
So in my business, I need a third-party verification annually, so as I can slap something on the wall to say that I'm up to a certain standard. So does that mean all our premises, our food people, are not actually up to that standard? Because that would be a bit of a concern for me. So we externally contract people for that task?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
How about the liquor then, the alcohol? Do we employ anyone directly in that area?
Yes, we do. We
How many
we have an
staff?
internal team. And how many staff?
Yeah, how many people have you got?
We've got 2 licensing inspectors and an administrator.
Yeah, well, the numbers are equally quite sad in that area as well.
The team perform exceptionally well. The sadness you find in the figures is possibly because we haven't explained it well enough, I don't know. But they are a very lean team for the area and the number of licences that they cover. Yeah, and they do a huge amount of work.
Well, they've failed as far as what the targets, this KPI they're supposed to achieve.
Yeah, some of those targets rely on the police for those targeted operations when we go out and do purchase operations to test licensed premises and their ability to follow the rules and not serve underage people. That constraint there has been the availability of local police. So we can't meet that measure if tri-agency partners aren't able to help us with that particular measure.
In the past, have you employed external people to help you out with that?
We cannot do a purchase operation without police. So the tri-agency, all 3 parties of that have to come together for that operation to be conducted, and we each have a component to provide. The police part of that is to provide the volunteers to go in and do the actual and attempt to purchase the alcohol. Our part is to capture the evidence and do the report, and health have another function again. So when you're reliant on other agencies outside of our own that are statutory partners under the legislation, we're reliant on them being available. And their availability has been constrained over the reporting period.
So is the reporting criteria a little bit ambitious then, according to you?
Not in a good year. In a normal year, or in years that I've experienced when I was a licensing inspector, for example, back in 2015 or whenever it was, we'd always hit our mark. But there was a high level of availability for those agencies. That's not been the case pretty much since COVID. It's been quite different.
Thank you. Now the next question, just around going back to Councillor Scott's waste. So our bin inspectors, do we contract them or do we employ them?
They're contracted.
So we pay a bulk number to the trust, I assume, the recycling trust, and they supply a couple of people to do the education and the inspections, is that right?
We contract, it's in part of our contract with Enviro NZ, our main waste contractor, and education and bin inspection are covered under that contract there. It's not part of the South Canterbury Sustainable Trust, no. They do the Crow's Nest, which is a separate contract.
So who represents us and holds them to account?
Yes, they have targets that they have to meet, certain number of education campaigns, they have targets around number of bins inspected, and they are meeting those targets, yeah.
And has our contamination rate slipped in the last 5 or 6 years since we've had a new contract going, or how is that, if you were to draw a graph, has that actually improved or has it actually got worse?
I think our contamination rate for recyclables is improving. It's slow, but it is improving. I think back a number of years ago, we had contamination rates over 30%. So it's coming down. Remember that this contamination rate reported is not Timaru. Unfortunately, it's representative of the entire South Canterbury area that is received at the end landfill. So, but certainly spot testing that we've done, where we take samples of Timaru, is showing quite a dramatic improvement and below 20%.
So this isn't just a snapshot of Timaru, it's what you're bringing in from out of town as well. So you're not actually analysing your out of town stuff to ensure that that's actually not 50% contaminated, whereas we're like 20%?
Yeah. Yes, we are, more like 20%.
And are you penalising them for that?
Sorry?
Are you penalising them for that?
No, there's no penalties at this stage because the recyclables, there's no cost to council on this sort of, so the recyclable contamination rate is payable by the contractor to dispose of, and the contractor gets the benefit of those recyclable materials, so it's in their interest to maximise.
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Thanks, Councillor Booth. Councillor Pye.
I just had a follow-on question, Mr Cooper. Your team of 2 alcohol licence inspectors, do they just do the Timaru district or do they do Waimate and Mackenzie as well?
They do Waimate and Mackenzie as well, yeah.
And do you know what their figures look like? As in the number of inspections they've done? Are they at 100%, so they've done 100% of Waimate and Mackenzie and only 53% of ours?
We do obviously capture that data for feeding into the health contract with our neighbouring councils. I don't have that information to hand.
That should be the whole thing. The LAP for them is a coalition between all 3, so it shouldn't be separated out into separate. Yeah.
We'll come back and clarify that.
Is this the figure for TDC or is this across the district?
It should be across the district.
Yeah, so that's Michelle's question.
The LAP is separate. That's a joint agreed policy between the 3 councils to operate under a commissioner and the DLC structure that we have. The health contract in terms of liquor licensing component of that that we have with our neighbouring councils, we only report, that'll be Timaru, and they'll have their information to report to their own councils.
We'll go Councillor Piddington, and if there's any dying last questions, get them ready because we'll try and move this along. Councillor Piddington.
I see we made a claim on the community lounge for our water main burst. Just interested to see how much that was. And while we're on the water main on Caroline Bay, there's toilets out of action because we haven't fixed it yet. What's the plan for the water main?
So what was the question you?
We made a claim, insurance claim.
Oh, yeah.
And when is the water main going to be fixed because toilets are out there?
Yeah. Yeah, so the water main is programmed to be fixed very shortly. The toilet should not still be supplied. So, okay. Oh well, yeah, because we made arrangements for that. But yeah, insurance claim, I'm not sure. I have to find out that information.
Final question. I see Strathallan Corner's progressing slowly, but I'm a bit confused because last time we met I asked if there was a sculptures going in there. Got told there wasn't. There's $1.6 million in the budget, but I see now there's a new element that was not anticipated in the original concept. It's going to be brought back to council for cost and consenting. Why would we be doing something that wasn't in the original project at a cost? I mean, we keep doing it to ourselves.
What page are you on?
Oh, Rosie put the memo around yesterday, all about Strathallan Corner and the design and where we'd got to. But all of a sudden we have a new element. And we can't afford things like railway bridge off the terrace. I'm just concerned that staff are going to put time and effort into an element that wasn't even part of the original plan.
Yeah.
I just get confused by all this stuff.
Yeah, sorry, I'm confused now. This isn't part of this, more of a minor nature item. Is that your question? No, okay. Well, let's answer that now, and then we can complete that. So do you have an answer for that, Mr Dixon?
Yes, yeah, I do. Basically, that new element is a pole or with eels wrapped around it. It was a suggestion from iwi as part of they were requesting it. It's not included in the original plan. There is no funding for it at the moment, and it will come back to council for consideration and for funding. So I said it is an iwi initiative. Yeah.
So it's a wish, and it needs to come back to council. Okay. Yeah, not in the budget. Alrighty, sorry. Close of, everyone's comfortable with the questions you've asked? Yep, perfect. So we'll go back to recommendation on page 72, which is the council receives and notes the 12-month non-financials. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Yeah, Councillor Pye, thank you. Councillor Parker, put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And thank you, Steph, thank you for all the work, Stephen, that goes into that report. No urgent business. We had minor nature. We had coastal shipping. So, Councillor Piddington, do you want to just talk to that briefly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
We've made an application for that coastal shipping funding for the railway crossing to get access to the wharf.
Okay. How much? Again, these are things the community are interested in.
We've only just done it.
We requested about 5 million, I think, to contribute towards it.
Cool. And the next one was, can you just give us an update on the runway as well? Thank you, Mr Dixon.
Yeah, thank you. So I actually met with MB only a couple of hours ago on this project. So it's still in the process of being considered. It's got through the first screening, I guess, the first hurdle. They're now into prioritising the projects and nationwide for recommendation to the Minister. They have a number of additional questions of us, which I have basically a week to supply the information. They wanting more information around greater demand and also potential freight opportunities, and they want some more numbers to quantify that. They have had a discussion with Air New Zealand, and Air New Zealand unfortunately are not really supporting the application on the basis that they believe that the Q300 planes will be lasting until 2040. So effectively there won't be any larger aircraft coming in until that time. And I guess Air New Zealand are a little bit gun-shy when it comes to landing charges. They haven't had bad experience with Auckland International Airport and Wellington and Christchurch, where improvements have been done and the cost has been directly loaded onto the landing charges. So we're a little bit worried about that. But the application is still in the wind, and it's
in the wind.
Promising.
Did you say 2030 or 2040?
2040.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hence my point on the number of cancelled flights till 2040 by the looks of things.
That's a very good question. On that point that we can't answer today, we will look to close up. So there's nothing else. Public forum items requiring consideration. That's interesting from the ECAN team, so we'll just keep alert to any changes in that regard. There's nothing further that I've missed, Jess, is there? No. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your attendance, and we'll close the meeting at 3:28.